In this video, we are going to primarily be deriving the quadratic equation. So let's start off. We have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now this is the general form of a quadratic equation. We are going to be doing this by completing the square method. Now our first step is to move the constant value to the other side of the equation. So we have x squared, ax squared plus bx. Subtracting c from both sides, we will have minus c. We have to remove the coefficient of the quadratic term here, a. So we divide through by a. Dividing through by a, we have x squared. This one cancels out this one, and then plus bx over a equals to negative c over a. Now we need to make this part of the equation to look like the form x plus something squared. We have to make this a squared equation. Now to do this, we have to divide this coefficient of x here by 2 and square it. And then what we do to this part of the equation, we have to do to this part of the equation so that we don't make the equation unbalanced. So we have x squared plus b over ax plus b over 2a, and we're going to square it, which is equal to negative c over a plus b over 2a squared. Now the result, okay, clean out this part. Now the result is x squared plus b over ax plus b squared over 4a squared. We've squared the value here, so we still have negative c over a plus b over 4a squared, b squared of course. Next up, we need to factorize this value here. Now to factorize this, the resulting value would be x plus, dividing this one by 2, so this b over 2a squared. So this is the value we get. So a simple tip from here is to pick the x value from this equation and then divide the coefficient of the x, the linear term here, by 2 and then square it to give you the brackets. So that's just an easy way of doing it. Now this is equal to negative c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. Now next up we have we'll have x squared plus b over 2a squaring themselves. Now this is equal to the LCM of a and 4a squared here is simply 4a squared. So the consequence of this is that 4a squared divided by a is 4a, so we have negative 4ac. 4a squared divided by 4a squared is 1, so we have plus b squared. Now this means that we have x squared plus b over 2a equals to b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. This has a square. Now if we take the roots of both sides, cancel out the square here, the roots of this side, second root, the square root of this side, this becomes x plus b over 2a equals to square root of b squared minus 4ac over 4a. squared. So this root has a plus and negative sign. So what happened here is that we're going to be subtracting b over 2a from both sides to give us the value of x. So the value of x is ultimately equal to b over 2a plus minus negative b over 2a plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Let me clean here so this becomes a bit clearer. So we have x equal to negative b over 2a plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Now if you notice, this is a perfect squared for the a squared and the 4 in itself. So this equation can be rewritten as x equal to negative b over 2a plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac and divided by square root of 4ac of 4a squared of 4ac. So we have x equal to negative b over 2a plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Now square root of 2 is 2, square root of a squared is a, so we have 2a. Now if you notice, we have a common factor of 2a for the denominators of both fractions. So x, this means that we can just say minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, because they have a common denominator here for the two fractions. So this is our quadratic formula. Now I've solved some questions and I'll leave them in the description below. Try to watch the videos to understand more about quadratic formulas.